we're going to focus on what and where is truth. Is it possible to know absolute truth? How important is it? The postmodern era used to think that truth was relative to whatever you thought. So we're here to look at it extensively today. But last week, it was a great privilege for me to catch up with Dan Poynter from the States, and we were able to do an interview with Dan so that we could share it with you. You'll be excited to hear about him. He's an author of non-fiction and a publisher, and I'd like you to listen carefully because Dan is a wise-hearted man. I have with me Dan Poynter. Dan's one of the most amazing men on the planet, what I would call a wise-hearted man, because of course I'm Heather Naomi from Wise-Hearted Women. Dan's done things like parachute into the North Pole, write 126 books. He's a publisher, he's an international speaker. He's currently on his 17th world tour in the last 3 years. Welcome, Dan. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Great to be here.
One of the things I love about you is that you focus a lot on non-fiction. And so we're discussing today, why is truth so important to people?
Well, people buy, people buy non-fiction to learn something or solve a problem. And so they're looking for specific answers. When you write a book, you're doing a lot of research. You're also using your accumulated knowledge. But it's very important that you get to the bottom of everything, because when you write something down, you are committing history. Oh. Other people are going to be reading your stuff and repeating you when they're doing their research. So it's very important that you don't just take anything that you've seen on the internet, in a book, in a magazine, but you follow it back to find the origin so that the history you commit is the truth.
So if we're helping someone with a problem, because there's two things, you said they either want information or they want help with a problem. They want some answers.
Learn something or solve a problem.
Learn something or solve a problem. Mm-hmm. There must be a lot of responsibility to us when we're seeking truth.
Well, there is, and that's why you have to do the very best research. Most people think when you write a book that you just sit down and write it. No, that's the beginning of it, because you're not only using your accumulated knowledge, but you are going out and researching as you're writing the book. Writing a book is a journey, and quite often that journey takes you off the path that you thought you were going to be on, and the book becomes even better because of what you learn as you go along.
So we might think that we've got a certain amount of truth from our own experience, our reading, our life's experience, but as we delve into looking for truth, it may completely take us off a track onto a different one.
Right, and that experience is what motivates you. I started off with technical books on parachutes and popular books on skydiving. That's my other love, that's my first love. And you're so focused, you're so interested in this that you'll read anything. You spend all of your hours just researching and talking to people and finding out more about that so that you can take all that information, boil it down, make it understandable so it answers people's questions.
So when you're researching and you're looking for truth yourself, how do you know when you find somebody says this is what you should do when you're jumping out of an aeroplane and somebody else says, oh no, you do this? How do you then sort out, if this is one thing and that's another, how do you sort out which one is truth?
And people say, what can I believe everything I read on the internet?
Yes.
What about this Wikipedia that's been written by all of these individuals? That's your job. If you're writing a book, if you're writing a magazine article, you're a researcher, you have to sort out the wheat from the chaff. And this is why you have to go back to find out who really did it. In my parachute research, I found where somebody would say something in a book, and years later somebody else would do research, pick that up, and they would keep perpetuating that myth.
Okay.
And that's why you have to go all the way back to find out and write it down and make sure it's right.
Thank you so much
for
such good advice.